Hello and welcome back to video number 5 in SAT Math Prep videos. And as I had you do in the previous videos, if you will pause first and try the problem, see how you do, and then come back and check the solution. Okay, so we're going to start off with this problem. This is, by the way, from Barron's new SAT 28th edition. Okay, let's read through the problem. And as you're working the problem, it's a good idea to read it out loud. And I realize when you're actually taking the test, you won't be able to do that. But if you can find a way to say it in your head or whisper it, then that will really help with the problem. So we've got a figure drawn here, and it says it is not drawn to scale. In the figure above, lines L1 and L2 are parallel. There's line L1 right there, L2. Which of the following statements must be true? Now, there is only going to be one correct answer. Okay, and the key there is must be true. Could be true is a little different type of question that you might get on another question. So let's look at what we do know. We have L1 and L2 are parallel. Let's kind of go down through here and see what we know about each of these choices. Triangles AED and BEC are congruent. AED, BEC are congruent. Well, we know the angles because these are parallel. That means angle B is congruent to angle A. That's alternate interior angles. And we also know that angle C is congruent to angle D. But we don't know anything about the lengths. There's nothing given there, so we don't know if they're congruent. Congruent means the same angles and the sides are the same length. So we eliminate that one. AED and BEC are similar. Well, we do know that if there's two angles of a triangle that are congruent to two angles of another triangle, then the triangles are similar. That is a key fact. We know this is true, but just to make sure, let's go through and look at the rest of them. A, B, and C, D are perpendicular. We don't really know anything about that because we don't know the exact measures of B and C. Can't be that one. A equals C and B equals D. No, that's not true because we just said that A equals B and C equals D. So that eliminates that answer. So the correct answer is B. So the important things to know here are we need to know a little bit about what happens when you have parallel lines cut by a transversal. And a transversal is that line that cuts through the two parallel lines. And when you have two parallel lines cut by a transversal, we have certain relationships between the angles that are formed. And the other important thing is to know about triangle congruence and triangle similarity. All right, let's go on to the next problem. Again, pause the video and give this a try, and then come back for the solution. Okay, so we have A, B, C, D are real numbers. I is the imaginary unit or the imaginary part. And if A plus BI times C plus DI is a real number, which of the following must be true? So we've got A plus BI times C plus DI. So we've got to do FOIL on this. A times C is AC. A times DI would give us ADI. BI times C gives us BCI. And then BI times DI gives us BDI squared. Now, from what we know about the imaginary numbers, I squared is equal to -1. So we're going to replace that with a -1. That gives us minus BD here. AC plus, now let's factor I out of each of these, so we get AD plus BC. Now they tell us that AD and BC, they tell us that the result is a purely real number. So that means this whole thing here is going to equal 0. So AD plus BC, because that will cancel out the imaginary part, and you're just left with AC minus BD as the real number. So it must be true that AD plus BC equals 0. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay. If xy is a solution of the system of equations above, what is the value of x divided by y? This is a typical kind of SAT question where normally if you see a system of equations, they just want you to find what x and y are. But in the SAT style, you have to find x and y, but then they have you put it into some other expression to give your final answer. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is combine the like terms by subtracting 3y from both sides. That gives us 3x minus 5y equals -2. And the bottom equation is x plus y equals 10. We want to be able to eliminate one of the variables. So the easiest way would be, since we already have -5y, we're going to make this a positive 5y by multiplying the entire thing by 5, which gives us 5x plus 5y equals 50, because we have to multiply 5 by everything. All right, now let's combine it with this top equation. We have 8x, and now these two cancel, equals 48. So x is going to equal 6. Now, let's go back to the original second equation, plug x in, we get 6 plus y equals 10. So then y is now going to equal 4. So x over y would be 6 over 4, which is the same as 3 over 2, and that's answered. If you'd like some individual tutoring for math, SAT, or any of the upper level high school math classes, you can reach me at maxmathtutoring.com. If you visit there, you are welcome to sign up for my free download, which will help you with test taking. It's called the 5 Strategies for Overcoming Test Anxiety. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.